When you think of a hat or accessory on Roblox with some kind of special effect, the first thing that probably comes to your mind is sparkles, lighting, fire, or maybe even smoke. But the one thing all of these types of hats have in common is it's purely cosmetic. It does nothing. And now these are pretty common. If you look in the catalog, you'll probably see tons of these types of hats that have flames or sparkles. Although they're normally more expensive than the typical hat, and there's not as many to the typical hat, they're still there. Take my horns, for example. They have a blue flame coming off of them. But as I said, does this really do anything? No, it's purely cosmetic. So for this video, I'm going to go over something that a lot of people do not know. And I can guarantee you probably did not know all of these existed. Now, I've been on Roblox since 2010. So at the time of recording this video, that's 7 whole years. But I've hardly come across anyone, even older players, that know of the existence of some of these hats I'm about to list, especially the last two. That's how unknown these are, especially what they do and the backstory behind them. Now, you may have seen these items before, but I guarantee you probably did not know the full backstory behind them and why they do this. So for this video, I am going to list a few items on Roblox that you probably did not know had effects that aren't just for appearance. So, we'll start by turning around and you'll see this one. This is the bunny ears of Caprice. Now, you may have heard about the bunny ears of Caprice, as they have been pretty well known lately, especially through trolls and just the whole prank community, basically. Because what this hat does is, upon wearing it, 5 seconds after putting it on, it will explode with a massive radius, killing everyone very close to you. Or even very far. As I said, a very large radius. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate by putting it on. Now, this hat has already been in the world for more than 5 seconds, so as soon as I touch it, it's going to explode. As you can see, it exploded, killing me. But why does it do that? Why does it explode? Well, before I get to that, you have to understand the backstory. As you can see, I have a tool in my inventory right here that says boring egg. Now, before I get to that, as I said, you have to understand the full story of this hat. Now, this hat was released to the Roblox catalog in 2009 or 2008, I believe. I think it was 2008. And this was for what I believe was the first egg hunt, the egg drop. Now, if you've been on Roblox for more than a year, you probably know what an egg hunt is. It's an event that Roblox hosts where you go around on normally a map and collect eggs, normally through challenges and such. But this particular egg hunt was different. Now, this particular egg hunt, there was no particular map. You could actually get eggs in any game. But any game, you say, how is that possible? Well, that's actually done through the bunny ears of Caprice you just saw. Now, what are you talking about, you may ask? Now, this is the part that many people do not know about the bunny ears of Caprice. But in fact, it was given out to administrators and a few select users during the egg hunt. And it's scripted in a weird way. It actually has a script inside of the hat that details 2 things. Number 1, it has a list of people, a long list. Now, I'm going to list off this list in a minute because it is pretty long. But essentially, the hat was scripted, so anyone who was not on this list would explode and die 5 seconds after they wore the hat, which is a normal force field time. Now this was done as kind of a safety measure, because during this egg hunt, chosen users and administrators would wear this hat and go into random games, and it would give them a tool called Boring Egg, which you probably see in my inventory. And this tool, upon clicking, would spawn an egg. And this was called the egg drop, this egg hunt, because the admins and select users would come into games, walk up to people, and drop eggs. And this included for all of the eggs of that particular egg hunt, which I'm not going to list off because there's too many. But why does it explode? This was kind of done as a safety measure to keep people who were not on this list from obtaining it. Because if they dropped the hat or someone else managed to get a hold of the hat, then they could freely spawn eggs. And this was solely done to prevent that. Now I'm going to list off the following amount of people who were actually chosen in a fairly fast order. And these are the people who actually did not get exploded and could spawn eggs. And these included Telemon, Doc Strange, Reese McLox, Keith, New 007, Boulderman, David Bazuki, Wukong, Matt Desek, Eric Cassell, Koopa, Gamer 3D, Cruz, Killed Strophy, sorry I cannot pronounce that, Stealth Pilot, FF Josh, Mr. Doombringer, Coyote Dreaming, Potfix, Clockwork, Player, Anonymous, Rumbomb, Jacob X Duel, Sirloin, Easter Bunny, and Rewe, R-E-W-E. Now all these users, when they wore the bunny ears of Caprice, they could freely spawn eggs. Now when we get to the tool, I have modified the hat so it would actually not explode me this time, and it gave me the egg tool. So when I click with this, it will spawn an egg. As you can see, there's an egg, and this was one of the eggs you can get back in Egg Hunt. So obviously if I touch it, it's not going to do anything, but back then, using that tool would actually give you an egg. And that's why that hat explodes. The bunny ears of Caprice explode to prevent random people from obtaining the hat and spawning in eggs. That's all of it. Now, a lot of people do not know all that. They just know that it explodes and it's good for trolling. So I mean, that's pretty much all you need to know, that it's good for trolling, but hey, cool to know the backstory, right? So that's one hat that actually does something cool in game. Alright, for the next item on the list, we have Mr. Doombringer's Doombringer. Now at first, the hat Mr. Doombringer's Doombringer was made exclusively by Mr. Doombringer. Try saying that 5 times fast. But this was actually made by Shedletsky, which is something to note. Now recently, since of last year, it was changed ownership to ROBLOX. If you don't understand that, it was originally a hat made by Shedletsky, but was transferred to the ROBLOX account by the means of them wanting to not have items made by other users. And this is the case for the bunny ears of Caprice too. They were originally made by Shedletsky and not ROBLOX, which is something to note. But this hat was exclusively made for Mr. Doombringer, who used to be an administrator. Now if we go down here to his badges, you'll see he's not an administrator anymore. He is recently retired, and actually left ROBLOX not too long ago. And if I remember correctly, he either had something to do with the community or was a forum moderator. But he was known for being a pretty cool admin and was actually very well liked. So it was sad to see him go when he went. But if we go ahead to Mr. Doombringer, even the description makes reference to him. But if we go to the owners list, you'll see that there are hardly any owners, but there are more owners than just Mr. Doombringer. And this was done later. So as I said, it was originally owned by Shedletsky. So Shedletsky was the original owner, and he made it for Mr. Doombringer. The rest of the owners were given at a later date. that includes Slingshot Junkie, who is an admin, Merrily, who needs no title, Deleted, who I actually forget who this was, but I think it was, maybe Mike? I can't remember his name. And then Alex Vendito Crown, who's a rich guy. I actually do not know when this guy got it. But yeah. So this hat is pretty unique because it has a similar effect to the bunny ears of Caprice. We'll go ahead and put it on, and you'll see it's not exploding me instantly like the bunny ears of Caprice does. But what it does is it gives you a tool if you are Mr. Doombringer. Now I'm not Mr. Doombringer, so I modified the hat script so it would give me the tool. So if you go into my backpack, I had the tool. Now what does this do? Upon clicking, it will shoot down a beam of explosions down to your character, which will blow you up and anyone near you. So we go ahead and activate that and look up. As you can see, boom, we are dead. And that's pretty much it. Not much to say. It just explodes you upon impact. And for some reason I still have the tool in my inventory, but that's not really notable. So yeah, Mr. Doombringer's Doombringer. A cool hat given at first exclusively to a cool guy that just so happens to shoot a row of fire down at you. Pretty cool. The last hat we are going to be discussing today is the Teapot Turret. Now this is a fairly well-known item. I'd say it's probably the most well-known on this list. But what most people don't know is it actually gives you a tool when you wear it in-game. If you are Clockwork, the original creator of this item. Now, just like the previous two, it has been moved to the Roblox account, but it was originally made by Clockwork, who was an intern at Roblox in the old days. And this is a pretty weird item, because it is actually a collaboration of multiple hat meshes. If you go ahead and look at the view here, you'll see several meshes. There's a golden teapot, what looks like to be some type of rod, which I'll get into later, and a bunch of teapot meshes right here. And these are all individual meshes. That means that this is basically a collaboration of multiple hats. Now this item is actually broken. And it used to be broken, but I actually managed to fix the item it gives you when worn in-game. And previously, in fact, you wouldn't actually be able to see this rod right here. This was previously invisible when put in-game because it is a custom mesh. And now what most people don't know is that currently you can create meshes on Roblox and submit them to the develop page right here. But that wasn't always the case. The feature was actually removed around 2010, but was re-added, I'd say about a little over a year ago. And because it was re-added, this mesh was basically fixed, this black rod. But as I said, this was created by Clockwork, a previous intern. If we go to the owners list, this is actually a frequently given out hat as of recently. You'll see all these owners. Clockwork, the original owner, FF Josh, Matt Desek, JRoblox 16, Foxcrab, Tone, Zook, Viobot, Noble Dragon, Code Rider, F-Word, Convic, Polyhex, and Reesment Blocks. Most of these are actually admins, which is cool to note. And if you go, there's actually a page 2 of this, which isn't loading for some reason, but I think Merrily owns this as well, even though he's not listed. Previously talked about Merrily. But let's go ahead and demonstrate what this actually does when put in game. Alright, so here is the Teapot Turret, and as you can see, it looks a little bit different than it did for the preview. Now this is as much as I can get it to actually show in game. Again, a lot of the meshes in here are broken. Like for instance, the golden teapot is not appearing, and this cluster of teapots up here, it actually took me a little bit to get that to appear. But anyway, here we are. As you can see, there's a bunch of teapots up there, one teapot there, and a satellite. Now first, if we go ahead and put this on, this actually has a hat giver script in it, and this is a hat. So right now I'm actually wearing it. But where is it? Where is it? You don't see it? That's because this hat actually floats so far high above your head that you cannot see it. So whenever you wear this hat, you are wearing it, even though it doesn't show. It's just extremely high up for some reason. Now the main purpose of this hat was, it was kind of a joke. But the main purpose was actually the rod I was talking about. If you look, this is not actually a rod. This is actually a replica of the gravity hammer weapon from Halo. And if you go ahead and touch it, you see, it's a gear, so I can hold on to it. So, anyone who wore this could get this, right? No, not actually true. If you wear this in-game, it's broken. This is a fixed version that I fixed. You will not get this gear, and as I said, this floats way up, so it's basically useless. Now, to my knowledge, Clockwork would have been the only person that would actually get this gear in-game. And I'm kind of glad, because if this Teapot Turret was sold at some point, that could have destroyed Roblox. So I'm glad for the low amount of owners, even if they do all get this. Of course, it's broken. So I guess that's good. Anyway, what does this do? If you click, you'll see I swing it and it creates an explosion. Pretty cool, right? Well, it is pretty cool. In fact, this actually will instantly kill anyone you hit, and the explosion is ranged, so anyone standing near you is basically dead. And yeah, I'm kind of glad that this is not for sale. Anyway, that is the last hat that I will be discussing in this video that actually has a cool effect. It gives you this weapon. Pretty neat, right?